Ladies and gentlemen, what's going on? Once again, I'm Ned from Nev's Tech, otherwise known as your friendly neighborhood basement dweller. Don't worry, ma'am, I am from the internet. And anyone, if they have been brought to zero again after COVID, and you have to look for a place, you have to look for a woman, you gotta say, everything has changed remarkably, remarkably, remarkably. And I want to tell you what the scene is like out there, all right? So, shortly after COVID, there was, oh man, maybe just before COVID, there was the Me Too movement, which was actually legitimately a big deal and changed things from the ground up. Everyone was like, don't worry about it because it's just, hey, everything will always be good. But we didn't have things like this happening. We didn't have things like what we're seeing happening right now. This is a different thing. Women getting on to social media and complaining flat out about their husbands and about the abuse they suffered in the past, and then figuring out they could make money by it and monetizing it, and then getting on. Yeah, let's take a look at this. And monetizing this stuff, it's unbelievable. So they got on and monetized this, and the family started falling apart. But nothing was. If you had any idea against it, you were automatically an incel or what did they call it? A MGTOW. Now, the women 2 years ago that were throwing these words around and that are still throwing these words around have no idea what a true incel is and very little idea of what MGTOW is. And now that we've gotten a little more progressive and a little further on, and time has put us to a story, we're realizing the objective negativity of women, which does happen, is very toxic. These women are now making money coming out talking about now how other women are toxic. It went from men to women now. Now this woman is telling a story about becoming bisexual and just what happened to her. Now, what I really want to point out is sorry. Now, before I go on what I really want to talk about, she is telling a story right here about after dating a woman, how horrible the situation was and how women will flip things and make themselves a victim in order to become the superior person. And if you break down fundamentally the argument, that's basically how a lot of this stuff goes. I remember when I was in high school, I talked to a friend and said it seemed back then like what everyone's trying to do in an argument was trying to win the argument and therefore prove that you were a better person and that your opponent is a horrible person. And in these arguments, it seems like the objective goal of the woman is to seem either like a boss bitch or like a victim, and that is confusing a lot of people. So now let's get back to definitions here of incel. People would say this gentleman down here is incel. Women would say this gentleman down here on the bottom right is incel because he questions the things that females say. We are in a time, a place, reality when men aren't allowed to argue with women. And I'm saying this as someone who has got it coming from a clinical psychologist who worked at university, flat out says men can't argue with women. Women have to argue with women, okay? Now I want to show you a great example of this. Watch this, what happens. My wife is yelling at me. Let's see. Calm down. During a calm moment, explain yelling is unacceptable. There are specific consequences that happen, such as separation. Try using I statements. And let's see, so this is better than what was there before. Before, what was there was, oh, you have to listen to her and you have to be compassionate. Now let's see what my husband is yelling at me. There's a red flag and yelling is red. It often signals a deeper, oh, they have changed it. Oh, good. Maybe we're healing now. Because last year, if you put this in, it would say that is abuse and you should call for help immediately. Oh, here it is. Find family violence resources in your area. Okay, now let's go back. Find. Oh, good. It's still there. We're healing. We're healing. Oh my god, I'm so happy. I'm so happy about that. But legitimately, if you look this up, you're going to find, I've done videos about it in the past, where if you put in my wife is yelling at me, you get things like, you need to be better to her. You need to be better to her. And if you looked up, my husband is yelling at me, it was just, this is the number to call for abuse. Now, I get to say this because TikTok destroyed my relationship. I can say that because after the Me Too movement, my wife was at home being a stay-at-home mom, and instead of taking care of the children, she was on TikTok all the time. So my wife would be on TikTok for 6 hours a day, and this is how the kitchen was. This food has been out for 3 days. Sometimes my kid would be eating this stuff. And she was on TikTok for 6 hours. And TikTok told her that this was acceptable. I really wish that I would have shown this video to TikTok. But if I would just say that this was the situation, nobody would believe me. Nobody would believe me. So I shouldn't say 3 days. This is 2.5 days worth of stuff. And she's sitting on the couch right now. And if I would have asked her to do this, she would have not done it. And she would have not done it for longer. And not only that, but she was giving my kid too much freaking sugar. You notice, like, we got some big, we got a few good things in here. Like, hey, we got a few all right things in here, but sugar is all the kids went for. They just went for gushers all the time. Now, here's the thing. TikTok and YouTube was just pumping that men are bad. Men bad if they give you a problem. Men bad. Guys, she wasn't feeding the kids. She was saying it's not her responsibility to feed the kids. And TikTok made her believe that this was absolutely fine. My kid went through about one of those a day, and my kid also went to the hospital twice for medical issues, dealing with waking up with a blood sugar level of 0. And then, yeah, she wouldn't even clean the yogurt off the side of the couch. So we literally had yogurt that would drain all over the side of the couch, and she wouldn't clean it up. She wouldn't clean it up, and it was my fault. And it was because TikTok and the idea that women can't be wrong. And all of her friends said, oh, it's your husband's fault for nagging at you. Okay, 6 hours a day she's on TikTok, and she can't, and when I tried to clean, she would yell at me. She would yell at me. So now we are in this situation where men have decided, oh, frick, you know, where they're coming after us. We're going to have to respond. And then as soon as men respond, women immediately go to, you are the worst kind of thing, you are scum, you're bad stuff, you're an incel, you're a MGTOW. So incel means invulnerable, it's celibate. You don't want to be, you don't choose to be, but you are. Now this guy, he's got a wife. A lot of these guys have wives. But one thing I can't get over is how many of these guys wear masks. Like, you get this guy, he wears his mask, right? He's got his goggles. And this guy, we got so many guys just like this, who, they're not even there. Dude, show your face. Come out and play, buddy. Come out and play. What are you worried about? What are you worried about? Come on. And this is also a guy here. And come out and play. Come out and play. What are you so worried about? The women canceling them is what they're worried about. So the men are supposed to be the providers, supposed to go out and get stuff. Supposed to be. Yeah, maybe that's not how it is. That's how it's been going. And guess what? That's the way our genetics work. That's the way our brains work. And just because women want to break into the men's thing doesn't mean that men are ready to break into the woman's thing, or even that the women are ready for men to break into the woman's thing. There are just some things that society would prefer women do. Like, for one thing, society would prefer if a woman was a kindergarten teacher, for example. Not in all cases. I'm sure that there are good men kindergarten teachers out there. But for the most part, at a glance, I'd definitely rather it be a female. So ultimately, within the theory of the whole situation, we have a situation where academia has set women to be more powerful and set them against their own culture, saying that their own culture is full of white, patriarchal heads that control everything. So women are coming, like men just want to marry these women, and women are coming out here with their battle helmets on, just wanting what's best for them ultimately. And yeah, hey, you're supposed to do that, but we're in a situation now that after you have a family, you destroy that family for the woman's personal goals. Now, it's hard to find a woman that'll catch a woman on something unless they're competing with one another for the same thing, and women will often just agree with women all the time until they're in their own shoes. They're finding out basically. Now here's the thing: a lot of the women don't have meaning on their mind. There's a lot of people that don't have meaning on their mind. They know the price of everything but the value of nothing. They don't have value and meaning in their mind. A lot of them act like they do, but at the end of the day, they're kind of like just the way men would be if they were rich and wanting to throw around their richness with sexuality. There's a lot of guys like, oh man, women in the city don't even want to talk about this, but cocaine and infidelity is a big thing for city chicks. It's a big thing. I mean, infidelity is a thing all over the place, but man, it's a dark time for relationships. And man, sometimes I almost think that we're dealing with a situation where we, like the mouse experiment. The buddy made a perfect place for the mice to do whatever they wanted, except now I'm thinking maybe they didn't have enough entertainment, and basically they screwed themselves out of existence, or they stopped breathing. They had all the food they wanted, but I don't think they had a whole lot of entertainment. And sometimes I wonder if females these days in Western society have been given everything and being given such leeway socially when it comes to outrage and whatnot, that they have exited reality. And when I see situations like the UK implementing bans on Facebook things, you can't say anything bad on Facebook because if you upset someone, it breaks the law. You're also not allowed to say that any female is sensitive. You're not allowed to say any female is sensitive. But guess what, Buttercup? Some of us are sensitive. You are going to get sensitive women. These days you're not even allowed to say that women are insensitive. You're just not allowed to say that. And there's so many white knights that just in shining armor that come to women's defense. But guys, a knight in shining armor is a knight that hasn't had their metal tested. So yeah, this is a tech channel. This is definitely a tech channel. Why am I talking about dating these days? Now, if you have to answer that question, you are disconnected from the current reality. You were set up and are good to go from before COVID. And now, after COVID, you're living thinking that the reality today is the reality that you came out of, or the reality that you had before COVID. And it's just not. It's just not. In that manner of thinking is the same way of you thinking that it is the same to get on a plane. It is not any harder to get on a plane after 9/11 than it was before 9/11. If you think that dating before COVID and after COVID and Me Too are the same, it is absolutely not. There are women who are absolutely drunk with power because they were hurt by men that are... I can't even imagine. But the issue now is all men are being blamed for the shit that a small amount do. And most women are going after a small amount of men. And the small amount of men are wearing masks and lying to these women. And these women have their own little lies. And they have these little games where they lie to each other about what they have and what they want. And ultimately what they do is just screw each other into oblivion. While the 60% of men just don't have anything. There's so many little games that we play. Socially, so many things we're supposed to do. We're supposed to use the little fork. We're supposed to use, man, it is just so frickin'. I'm sure some people got it. I ain't got that. Like, you get the classy spy and you get the heavy weapons and the soldier guy. That's me. I'm the heavy weapons and soldier. But legit, if you think I'm crazy, I suggest that you take a step out there and see what reality is really like. Listen to this woman's video and look around at all of the dating coaches. We have so many dating coaches right now that have no idea what they're doing and have no idea what reality is like. We have therapists that have no idea what reality is like. They just don't frickin' know. They don't know what it's like to be a guy. They don't know what it's like to be an ugly girl. They don't know, well, some of them do. And some of those ugly girls don't know what it's like to be a good-looking girl, and they spite good-looking girls. Oh my goodness. Women stick with women when it comes to hating men, but when it comes to hating women, women are also with other women. Like, jeez. Like, as a hacker, within Chanology, the most fucked up thing I ever seen was when women were competing with women for men's attention. Oh my god, the thing that women did to other women. Like, sent nudes to the family. Wow, I can't even get into the full story. We're not even allowed to talk about reality. Like, when we go out and talk and have conversations, we're supposed to talk about nice things, dainty things, positive things, especially if you're a woman, because you don't want to talk about upsetting things. If you talk about upsetting things, everyone will get all upset and woo. But like, we got problems in this society, and we know we damn well do. Not like we had problems in the 90s. We have so many problems in this society, and maybe we are all that we got, and maybe hating us because of some of the things that a few people did at the top, or something that happened to you in the past, or the fact that your dad was a piece of shit doesn't mean that you have to treat everyone badly. At the same time, I have no idea what it's like to be dating men, but if I listen to women, they basically tell me that all men could rape them at any time. And yet these women still go out to after hours clubs with these men. Okay, so there is an objective reality that women don't want to talk about, but we have to acknowledge. Women, if you go to an after-hours club with a guy and you do a lot of cocaine with him and he gets you a lot of drinks and takes you back to his place, you're getting you're getting it. You're getting it. You're going to get boinked, okay? And you're probably going to go out and have a horror story about it and be like, "Oh, I didn't want to." Oh my god, and maybe you didn't, and maybe you didn't. But okay guys, if you go to an after hours club with a guy who gives you a lot of drugs, you're getting it whether you want it or not. And oh, fuck. You've exited the scene of the law. I don't want to say this, but this is a reality that you need to face. If you go to an after-hours club and do an obscene amount of drugs with the guy, he has plans for you. And if you act like you don't know about this, come on. Come on. Come on. Like there's a time and a place where you can say, like, oh, you can't say that he was wearing that, so he was asking for it. And you can't say that. You absolutely cannot say that they were asking for it because they were wearing that. It's not how it works. It's definitely not how it works. But at the same time, if you go to an after-hours club with somebody who you have already been grinding with and partying with and getting drinks for and hanging off the edge of and making out with, and go to an after-hours club and then do drugs with this person, you are going to get it. Like, unless you have an exit plan of your own. Like, of course, he's supposed to do all of these good things and take care of you. He's absolutely supposed to do all of these things and take care of you. But guys, ladies, you, I want to say you don't get to complain after that, but you do. Like, I don't. You gotta stop putting yourselves in positions, ladies. Men, also, stop putting yourselves in positions. Like, men, I can go on forever about stupid things men do. Hanging out with chicks that they know damn well that they shouldn't. Like, guys, you know at work if you're going to cheat. You know, like I see so many people, they just get a new group of friends and then they cheat, or they go to a new job and they start cheating, and then they go to this and they blame it on their ex. Guys, leave your ex before you cheat. That's all I'm saying. Leave your ex before you cheat. But that's what it's like. The technology and relationships shouldn't be combined, but they absolutely are. Within our spirits, within our souls, we are part of the technarchy now. We can't date without the internet these days, and that's freaking disgusting. Guys, this is the new age, and we are in a time where we're waking up to who we actually are because we have cameras on us all the times. And now women are competing with women. Women aren't just competing against men, women are competing with women now. And this is interesting. Anyways, thanks for hearing me out, guys. But really, everybody, come out to play. Come out to play. Stop wearing your glasses. Come out to play. And have a good one, everyone. Take care of each other.